Today I am participating in a room-by-room vintage garden hosted by Devin at Freckled Mom DIY and co-host Favi Arrows DIY. Now Devin loves vintage items that she can flip into something useful. She flipped a ladder to hold plants and a table to use as a potting bench and updated her back hallway in her home. She is an incredible person and has had a lot of challenges, but is a light to others in this time of her life. Co-host Favi at Arrows DIY is sweet and kind. She likes to do Pottery Barn, high-end dupes, Kirkland dupes, and makes tiered trays. She appreciates vintage florals and shabby chic DIYs. So be sure to follow, subscribe, and like and comment on their channels. They really appreciate your support. Also, be sure to follow the other wonderful collaborators in this Vintage Garden episode. Now, Vintage Garden is kind of how you interpret it. It can look classy or whimsy or however you like it. This is my first time doing anything on YouTube that deals with dirt, flowers, and vintage. Summer flowers and vintage vibes is something I think is feasible for me. My first DIY will be called Pink Bicycle and Flowers. I asked a friend a few years back, could I use her bicycle? It was hanging up, it was pink, and she wasn't riding it. And so I took it for a year and rode it around the neighborhood. And then I tried to give it back, and she said, no, you keep it. So I was known as a lady in the neighborhood with the pink Cadillac, the pink bicycle. Since I needed to put water, sunglasses, and other things I need to maybe drop off to some of my neighbors, I needed a basket. So I purchased one, and away I went, looking pretty cool until the tires needed air. But my neighbor always had me hooked up. I thought the basket would look nice with some flowers in there. So the supplies you need for this one are a bicycle basket and, of course, a bicycle. And the flowers that I used were Coleus, Diamond Frost, Euphorbia, and some Calabrachosis. You need also a plastic bag, some zip ties, but I had a jump rope from Dollar Tree and I just hooked it up. Since the flowers already came in dirt, I just simply arranged the flowers around the basket and added some moss to hide the plastic bag. Then I gave the flowers a bit of water, which I do every other day if needed. Now I think the arrangement looks pretty good for a newbie. Not only does it look pretty, I can ride around the neighborhood in style. I still think it has a cool vintage vibe. So it would look good using some zip ties to hold up the basket, but for now, my Dollar Tree jump rope is doing just fine. So I hope you like it. Comment. Next, I have a galvanized basket, and this thing is old. It was given to me by my neighbor. She knows I do DIYs and thought it would be a nice touch to my vintage floral garden, or trying to be garden. I'm more of a container garden person, and so you have to make it work. So I have a lot of garden containers, or container gardens. So I have a lot of container gardens. The supplies you need for this DIY are approximately 10 French marigold, and these are dwarf marigolds. One galvanized container, vintage, and it's small and it's perfect to put on a table. I decided to leave the galvanized container as it is. And if it rusts outside, then it just adds to the character of the vintage vibe. Again, I put a plastic bag in the container and proceeded to put all of the marigolds inside. They're so vibrant and pretty. I did not think anything else needed to be done. I set the container on my metal patio table and it gave it so much life. It would be nice if I had a bigger one, but sometimes you just have to use what you have. And if you just look around your home, you might find some things that will work for you, whatever type of garden that you have. The last DIY is a metal can embellished with a napkin. You would be surprised how an empty can of corn or peas can look. It is all how you interpret what you want to do. So the supplies needed for this DIY are one metal can. Now you can have a large metal can like a big coffee can, but this is just what I had on hand. You need one napkin, and it would be nice if the napkin was floral or botanical on it. And for the small can, all you need is one napkin. Now if you're going to use a bigger can, you probably need 2 or 3 or 4 napkins. Some Mod Podge, some jute, drill with a small bit because you're going to drill some holes in the can. So you drill 2 holes, one on each side of the can. And then I smashed the can. Now I tried to do it evenly, but it's okay to be a little off because that's what it is. Once you hang it up, no one is going to really know. So be sure to take off one layer of the napkin. And take care not to put too much Mod Podge on the can. I think I put a little too much on it, made it a little bit too wet. So I think in the future I will just put just a little bit on there, but a little heavy-handed today. So once it is dry, you can thread the jute through the opening that you made with your drill. To be able to thread it through there, I took some hot glue and just kind of made a little stiff on the ends, and I put the knot on the outside because I thought it just looked more vintagey. So once it is dry, you can maybe stuff some paper inside. I put succulents inside mine. You can hang it on your fence if depending on if you have one, or you can hang it on your back door. I'm going to hang mine on my back door because I think it just looks really cute there. However, if you're going to leave it outside, make sure that you spray the can with some type of protector so that when it rains or you have inclement weather, the napkin won't disintegrate. Well, that is all, folks, for this amazing room by room vintage garden collaboration. If you've made it this far, you're the best. Be sure to subscribe, save, and like, and comment if you so choose. I would love to have you in the Z9 Designs family. And remember, kindness is more important than wisdom, and the recognition of this is the beginning of wisdom. Love you all. See you next time. Bye-bye.